That intro never gets old to me. However, we still have to fix that one mo where you got, my.
Listen, I just messaged him. You better edit this photo for next time.
We got a better one I can send. We
Nobody
got a
gave
better.
you license to use these images.
I signed no release, giving my authorization.
There was no waiver.
There was no waiver signed. Absolutely not. Um,
Wait, can we sue like Facebook?
yeah, we'll see that
Yeah.
money in about 5 to 10 years,
I
right?
want my
Just
I want my $346. Is that what it was?
I, was it? I thought it was like $5. I don't know.
No, people were
Was it
getting like
more?
346, 347,
Oh, I
something
missed
like
that
that.
one. I missed that one.
Well, you
Well,
may notice my voice sounds a little different today.
you said you got
Um,
some
I got
heebie-jeebies.
some heebie-jeebies.
Some
I don't know.
heebie-jeebies.
Came with the new birthday, I guess.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Happy birthday, Queen. She
Yeah.
turned 25
Yes. Yes.
in
Let's
this,
go with that. Let's go with that.
but you have tea. Tea is healing and soothing.
Whoa.
What kind of tea do you have today to help with the heebie-jeebies that you got going on?
Oh my goodness, it's good and hot too. Well, this is my sunflower mug
Oh,
that I
cute.
got as a gift from. It is from Portugal.
Oh,
It was from one of our queens, one of our pageant queens, gifted
okay.
me this
Nice.
last year. Um, Tonight we are drinking Bigelow ginger peach
Oh,
turmeric
okay. Very
herbal
healing
tea.
properties. Ginger is very
Uh,
healing. Turmeric is very
and
healing.
because I'm old school, it's 2 cough drops and a shot of apple cider vinegar in there.
Okay. Okay.
Spoon of honey. I mean, what?
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. That's what we're
Uh,
doing. What are
okay.
you having?
So I was on the phone with my mom before we logged in, and I was like, what kind of tea should I do? My usual elderberry tea or whatever. I said, or should I bust out the Persian tea? And she's like, oh, you need to bust out the
Oh,
Persian
we
tea.
busting out.
So I
Okay.
busted out the Persian tea. Um, and we normally, when you serve the Persian tea, it's in a glass. This is actually a little extra large. Normally it's not as large, but it's normally served in a glass mug like
Why is
that.
that?
And then normally we drink it with sugar cube, or if you've got the heebie jeebies, honey and lemon.
You so bullshit. You got
I
sugar
am.
cubes. You got
And
sugar
and it's
cubes in the
and
house.
it's not even, it's not, and here's the thing, right? Persians, it's not like domino sugar cubes. Like you go to the Middle Eastern store and they sell them like special. Look, it is what it is. I can't help it. We Middle Easterns, we're a little extra sometimes on how
Well,
we how we do things, but
well. Now, why the glass? Why the glass mug?
I don't know, to be honest. It's always a little, either a teacup, a glass teacup, or I mean, like I said, this is a little extra large. Normally it's not served in something so big, but that's the only glass mug I had. I don't know if it like helps cool it down fast. I have no idea. None.
Interesting.
None idea. I just know that's how it was always served. The only thing you would ever serve in a like ceramic mug would be Turkish coffee, and it's normally in a little espresso cup. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's listen.
Wow.
I'm learning. I don't know, but
Well, I feel like I might need a second helping of this.
yeah. But shout out to Kababi. So that's that awesome Persian restaurant. It's on Lawrence in the city, my old neighborhood. They actually sell the Persian tea loose leaf, and which is how you should make it. I took the shortcut. They have tea bags as well. My grandma would be like so talk to the hand if she knew this was a tea bag Persian tea. She'd be like,
That
"I'm
is
so sorry,
hilarious.
you made that how?" But
A bag. We don't do bags.
you don't do
I
bags.
mean, what do you expect from people that use authentic
Yeah.
sugar cubes?
And it's a whole process. It's a whole process on making the tea, but it's delicious, and this is the right shade it should be. Any lighter than that, and my grandma would say, it's a different saying in Assyrian, but it translates to like if it's lighter than this, and this is a pretty decent shade. I know it looks a little darker than it should, but any lighter than this, and she'll tell you you're drinking like an old lady's urine because it should. She would say it in Assyrian, so it translates
Wow.
better.
Wow. Welcome
Yeah,
to the show. I mean,
welcome to the show, everybody.
good
So when you go to someone's house who's Middle Eastern, you want a nice
check
darker
the shade.
shade
Check
of
the
color.
shade, check the cues, and no bags.
Yes. Right.
Otherwise, you fooling around. You're fooling
Right.
around. Oh my gosh. Well, there's your lesson on tea for the evening.
There's also how was your birthday, by the way?
The actual day was very peaceful, very relaxed. I have made it up in my mind that I was going to do a 44-day celebration and do something different every day. And then Heebie-Jeebie showed up. So I'm going to have to extend that. You're going to see a lot of this tonight. You might, if you see some, just
I'll let you know if I see. I'll be like,
and some
if you see me do this,
I'm
or
gonna be like, you all right, Chrissy?
Yeah, I'll be like, yeah, I'm good.
You're not. You might see a lot of this because I cut the air off. I've been sleeping under the air every night, so that has not been helpful. It's not helpful for your immune system. But when you live on the second floor and it's 100 degrees outside
and hot air rises,
120 up here.
Yeah.
I need to sleep right under the air and then I wake up sneezing. So it has been an interesting week. But nevertheless, a celebration anyway.
Good. Well, happy birthday. I'm glad you're here and you're having the heebie-jeebies. That's okay. Still here.
Hey.
So I know we're gonna get into this amazing book. However, we would be, I think, remiss if we didn't touch on, I think you know what I'm about to say, a very horrible decision that took place last Friday.
I don't even want to touch it.
Because I do believe that does affect mental health.
I'm gonna drink my tea. That's what I'm doing.
I have lots of words, and then I don't have words. But I just know I just don't know.
Well, I'll say this, and I'm not gonna say nothing else.
Okay.
What has been most interesting about the court's decision and the news has been the reactions and the responses of people. Mm-hmm. People that you thought you knew.
Oh, absolutely.
People that you thought were more involved in their thinking. Mm-hmm. People who, you thought had more compassion. The fact that I had to actually unfriend some folks. I don't do that often. I might do that at the end of the year, a little cleaning.
Cleaning into the new year.
But I saw some posts. And then it's like one thing if somebody is commenting, they're asking questions or, throwing their opinion out because you posted, so you're welcome in rebuttals. But some of the posts that I have seen have been so vile, especially from Christians. Yeah, that's a good moment to take a sip, especially from Christians. Some of these posts have been so vile and so inconsiderate of the experiences of people that don't look like them, that I actually went in and, you know what? I don't want to see anything else do this.
Right.
We don't talk no way. I actually unfriended some people because I didn't want to see anything else like that. That came up, or even their responses to other people's posts have been so incredibly disgusting that I didn't have any more reason to keep them on my list. That is that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
Yeah, you know what, was very fortunate in that respect because most of the posts I saw, like all of them, almost like everybody was in support of how we feel, like how, men and women alike, like, I can't believe this, women have lost rights. And that. So I saw very supportive postings. What shocked me a little, though, is I made a post and I had someone comment on it. And her comment was, well, they're just looking out for the children in our future. And Patty LaBelle me wanted to say, this coming from the woman who's been to the clinic 3 times. But I didn't do that because
I'm so glad you weren't that petty. Good grief.
I was not. I
Well,
could have.
when folks know your story, Lord, it's dangerous.
It's dangerous because I could have gone there.
Saying anything when people know your story.
Could have gone there, but I didn't because I'm like, nope. You know what? I'm not gonna air out that dirty laundry because.
But that's not my place in the school system.
Yeah,
tell me who we looking out for again.
Right.
Because I just sat through. I just interviewed someone for a job this morning, and part of the interview was me asking scenarios. You hear noise in the hallway; it sounds like shooting. Mm-hmm. What's your response? Mm-hmm. What's your reaction? What is the first thing you're doing with the classroom full of kids? And then this is in the job interview.
Right.
The fact that we have to even discuss these situations, but you want to talk to me about
my body.
I can drink my tea.
That you have nothing to do with. But she made this comment again, like Patty LaBelle me was like, you've been to the clinic 3 times, but on top of that, she has no kids. So what are you talking about? Like, I make it make sense, babe. Make it make sense. I can't. But anyways, I just thought we needed to touch on that because now
we touched it.
Everybody's concerned about, the people who are on the other side, talking about when, there's a mass shooting about the mental health crisis. Well, babe, you just added to it. You just added more to the mental health crisis that we have in this country. So that's where we are right now. And Martha, hello. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you. Always love when Martha joins us. And welcome to B-Side, baby. Martha's officially on the executive team of B-Side, and we're so happy to have her because she's going to be incredible. She just got her makeup artist certification, and she came out, beat my face a little bit.
Oh, I saw that face, Martha. You beat the face.
Oh, yeah, she beat
Martha,
the face.
You beat that face. I saw it.
So, next time we have a photo shoot or whatever we're doing, guess what?
Martha need to be beating faces.
Martha's going to be beating all our faces. We're going to be lining up. Maurice will even get in the chair. Like,
hashtag Martha beats faces.
Martha beats faces.
Oh, my goodness.
So I believe we need to delve into this beautiful yes, as you can see, I've already bookmarked.
I'm glad because I wrote it. I ain't read it.
Listen, there's so many in here I wanted to read, but I picked a few. But you wrote this and released it, I believe, what was that, 2020, right when we were in the pandemic.
I sure did.
And it was in June. During recognition of Narcissistic Abuse Awareness.
Well, that's when I announced it.
You announced it, right?
I announced it on World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day. I actually released it July 27th. That date was very purposeful. But I released it that day.
I just remember I was sitting on my deck in the summertime in the sun reading it. So I know it was in the summer that it came out. But tell us, about what what gave you the inspiration to write this, because you had done Love's Great Design, which is also for sale on angelsimmons.com. which is a 365-day devotional. Nope,
It's a
52-week
52-week
devotional.
devotion. Yes.
52-week. I caught
And you
myself.
can read it all 365
You
days if
could.
you want to,
You
but yeah.
could. But that was the first, and then he moved on to this. So,
Yeah.
and if y'all, you need to just go buy both books. And if you buy it from angelsimmons.com, she will personalize it for you. Okay,
Right.
I'm done. I'm done plugging the sales for right now. So go ahead. Tell
Yeah.
us.
Well, I have experienced quite a few different relationships that were steeped in narcissistic abuse. And I say that really given the opening that it's not just romantic relationships that we have to consider. um, from doctors to teachers to former employers, romantic interest, friends. This book covers a caveat of relationships, dealing with people who have narcissistic tendencies. And everyone who has narcissistic tendencies, has not been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, which is a little
That's
different.
true.
Um, but coming out of one particular relationship, I started teaching on this. That's me. If I cross the rainbow bridge to something, I need to go back and pull somebody else over. And I really wanted to do that education, and it was I want to say I started in February. I started 2018, February
Oh, wow.
2018.
Okay.
I started teaching on this, started teaching on narcissistic abuse and what it means and what it looks like. And I had so many people in my inbox, and it was all hours of the night. And it
Oh,
was
wow.
women that I knew from other
Mhm.
walks of life, models that I knew, women who I knew were married or I had worked with in marriage ministry. It
Mhm.
was very interesting. It was so many messages. I had guys reaching out, asking
Interesting.
questions
Yeah.
about, is this what I've been dealing with? Um, and I went live. I want to say the next year on World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day. I went live
Mhm.
and did a teaching. And God was speaking to me then. This needs to be in one place. This needs to be in one place. And I ignored
Oh,
it. I
of course.
ignored it because I
Yeah.
was coming off the release of Love's Great Design,
Mhm.
um, and still trying to get some traction with promoting that book and that project and speaking on it. And I really didn't want to do anything else. I had other books, that I was planning to do, but
Yeah.
this topic was so heavy.
Mhm.
And with people reaching out, I'm all about filling a need.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, I'm that puzzle piece somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, and I finally sat down, during COVID, like,
Yeah.
is this what we're doing? I had something else to release in
Yeah.
February. That didn't happen.
God's like,
Okay.
no, if you're not going to listen, then I'm going to shut down the world and you're going to release this book.
Exactly. And one of the things that I did for, that announcement on the first was my push. Because once I put it out there and tell somebody, Bryson's not here, but hey, Victor,
Hey,
what's up,
Vic,
Vic?
look
Hey,
at
what's
that.
up?
Fine set of
Um,
ladies talking about serious. You
yeah.
know it.
But Bryson's not on here yet. Oh, look at him winking at us.
That's Date Mike from The
I
Office.
know, I know. Hilarious.
It's better than
Um,
the Joker. I'll take anyone
right,
but the Joker at this point.
right.
Anyway,
But
go
if
ahead.
you have a friend like Bryson, if you tell her something,
We love Bryson.
you tell her you gonna do something.
You better do
You
it.
know,
She's not going to let it go.
she gonna put it in her phone and set the calendar to text you about it once a week. Where's the book? Where's the book? Where's the book? Where's the book? And then a friend of mine, Michelle Monet, who
Uh-huh.
wrote the play, My Last Party, stage production.
Which I did
Um,
watch that one, and that was
amazing,
powerful.
amazing about
So
suicide
powerful.
prevention.
Hmm.
Um, but I talked to her. We were talking around that
Yeah.
same time, and she's like, "We got to do an interview." And I'm like, what are you doing? So we had set the interview. I set the interview with her.
Mhm.
Um, right after, I'm like, I haven't even announced it yet. Let me announce it. So I announced it on June 1st, and like that next week or that same weekend, I was interviewing with Michelle Monet. And then I did the interview with Bryson after it had been released, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is. It was a push, and at that point, it was a race. Once I made
Yes.
the announcement, it's like I got to do it now. I got 3 more chapters. Oh my god, I
Right.
got to get it done.
So, can you tell people, because I'll be quite honest with you, until I read this book, I truly did not know what narcissism was, to like fully understand it, what it was to be in an narcissist, being abused by a narcissist. I really, this was very eye opening because it made me realize that, okay, so that's what that person was doing. That's what it was. Because I always thought, okay, maybe it's me. But then reading this, I was like, oh, well, I've been in relationships with a narcissist, friendships, and all of that. So
Mhm,
for those who may not be aware of what that is and who
mhm.
don't have this book, which y'all should buy on angelsimmons.com,
Yes.
um, can you just touch on that?
Well, typically, you can often define narcissism as egoism.
Mm-hmm.
It is an excessive admiration of oneself. If you think anything with the word self in it, um, is geared towards narcissism.
Sorry,
Arrogant.
I laugh because I think of one person right off
I
the
know you do. Arrogant. Selfishness.
top.
It's a sense of entitlement. It's a
Mhm.
lack of empathy. It's self-centeredness. Anything dealing with self.
Mhm.
Um, Now, the actual personality disorder is different. That's something that has to be diagnosed.
Mhm.
According to the DSM-5, there's
DSM.
all these
Mhm.
technical terms, and that's a personality disorder. Is defined by a long-term pattern of abnormal behavior. So that's the
Okay.
difference. All of us have narcissistic tendencies.
Mhm.
All of us have experienced, like I said, relationships with people um, that are narcissistic, and we have all been guilty of being self-centered and arrogant and feeling
Mhm.
entitled. So we've all touched on that. We've all displayed those characteristics. But somebody with a diagnosable personality disorder is different.
Mhm.
And there are 9 characteristics. Um, According to the diagnosis, they have to fit 5 of those criteria,
Wow.
5 of the 9 criteria, in order to be characterized as a personality disorder.
Mhm.
Now, what's interesting that there are less than 4% of the population are actually formally diagnosed.
Oh,
So, of
that's it.
the
That's
158
it.
million
Oh
people
my
in
god.
the U.S., that's just the U.S., less than 4% are formally diagnosed.
What are the criteria? Because
Well, I'll give you a couple. You need to buy
okay.
the book. I'll give you a couple.
Yes.
But we talked about sense of entitlement. That's one. We talked about lacking empathy. That's another one. Arrogant behavior
Mhm.
would be a third one. Pair that with requiring excessive admiration
Oh wow.
and preoccupation with fantasies of power or success.
Mm.
That could be 5. You fit
Okay.
those 5. It doesn't matter if you fit the other ones. If you fit those 5, technically you would be diagnosed based on
Hmm.
long-term patterns of behavior. And we say long-term because this is something much like mental illness we were talking about last month, and it's starting in the teen years. Was it
Mm.
14 or 16?
I think it
Um,
was 14.
it's the same. It's
Mhm.
the same with patterns of narcissistic personality disorder. It's
Mm.
something that would start early. It would start, either as a teen or it would start by age 21.
Hmm.
This is normal. Exaggerated feelings of self-importance, excessive need of admiration, lack of understanding of feelings of others. These things sound familiar,
Very,
you know. These are
very
all
familiar.
part of that criteria.
Hmm.
This is all part of that criteria.
Wow. Well, and and like you said, it's not just romantic relationships.
It's not.
It
It's
could be
not.
friendships, it could be parental relationships, it could be
Woo!
coworkers. Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
we won't go. Yeah, it could be coworkers, it could be
Absolutely.
bosses, it could be doctors, it could be clergy at the church.
Come on, church. No, I need to step.
Uh,
Let me step my drink.
but there's one excerpt I had bookmarked,
Mm.
and I chose it because it's on my favorite page in the book. Number
What
23 is my
page?
favorite. Number 23 is my favorite number.
Okay. Jordan.
Um,
Jordan. All right.
swoosh. So this is
Oh, that
Cassandra,
sounds
age
familiar.
31.
All right,
It does.
Cassandra.
Uh-huh. I was always the one my friend would call when she had a problem and who she could confide her secrets in. We would talk almost daily, and for a while, all our conversations either involved her love affair, court dates, or lawyers for said court dates. I would manage to get a word in every so often, but it would then circle right back to her and her life. I was an emotional mess when my grandmother passed away. When I would talk with my friend, I would maybe get 5 or 10 minutes of the 2 hour conversation to express my feelings before she would turn it back on herself. That was the start of the red flags and realizing how one sided this friendship really was.
Now let's go back. We got to give the audience some info. This
Yes.
book consists of 15 real life stories
Yes.
of people who have been affected by narcissistic abuse. Each chapter starts with a story, uh, the teaching, and a survival tip.
Mhm.
That's pretty much the layout of the book. And
Mhm.
each chapter addresses another component of narcissistic abuse, whether it's red flag. This is a red flag chapter.
Mhm.
Talking about red flags,
Mhm.
talking about gaslighting, talking
Mhm.
about um, hoovering, in some other chapters. We
Mhm.
talk about love bombing. So, all of the terms that are related to abuse, whether it's narcissistic or domestic violence, which is very
Mhm.
similar, um, each chapter touches on some of those terms. And
Mhm.
it starts with a story. And
Yeah.
these are stories that were given to me from people that
Mhm.
I know. Um, some of these are mine,
Yep. These
so
all true stories. At the end of the
all
day, these are all
real
true
life stories.
stories.
And there are 15
Yes.
stories in here. So this is what you're getting when you're
Mhm.
getting this book. You're getting the
Yeah.
story. You're getting somebody's real experience. You're getting the teaching regarding what it was that they were dealing with, and then you're getting a survival tip on how you can move forward or move around that
Mhm.
obstacle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I can't give all of it away, you guys, because you're
Please
gonna
don't.
have to get the book.
You
But
get the bag.
um, I will just tell you, I believe the second story in, it's just like, and to know that these are all true
Yes,
stories.
that one.
That yes, that
I
one.
wanted to start with that. I said, no,
Yes.
no, 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 no,
No, we're gonna
no,
save
no, no.
that. We're gonna save that for people to read. But
Yeah, you gotta
um,
get that yourself.
it's just so eye opening because you don't realize how things that you have experienced in your childhood, your young adulthood, your adulthood, that were narcissistic things, and I never really realized. I would have never put two and two together about, the medical field with doctors, until I read this and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay, that makes sense because I think a lot of people often just relate it to romantic relationships.
And
Yeah.
that story regarding the medical profession actually was it was prompting another book. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to go down that rabbit hole,
Oh,
but
now you said it. So when Bryson sees this,
I said it before. Yeah.
Bryson's
It's
gonna be
still
like,
on her list. but it was
brought it
it
up again.
definitely prompted me because the
Yeah.
experience of women at the doctor,
Mm-hmm.
especially as a person of color or other ethnicity outside of Caucasian,
Mm-hmm.
is different from those of experiences of women who are Caucasian.
Mm-hmm.
Is that nice? Did I say it
Yes,
nicely?
that's a good way. Oh, hey,
Hey,
Paul.
Paul.
So Paul and Vic are together right now.
Uh-oh, uh-oh,
They're at
uh-oh.
it's so nice because they're out having drinks. So they're at a brewery watching this right now.
Then I feel very honored.
I
I
swear,
feel
right?
very honored. You're having a beverage. We having beverages. I
I
love it.
mean,
I love it. But yeah, our experiences are different at the doctor. Um,
oh, absolutely.
Typically African American women or women of color are labeled as hypochondriacs. If
Mm-hmm.
I come in and I tell you I'm having pain somewhere, the first reaction or the first response is to assume. First assumption. The first assumption is that I'm just in here trying to get medication,
Mm,
that I want to take pills, or I'm a seller, or I'm gonna give them to somebody else. It's never about the pain,
right.
because we are assumed or seen to have a high tolerance of pain
Mm,
historically. If you
mm-hmm.
want to go way back to slavery, we have a high tolerance of pain in our bloodline. So I can't possibly be hurting this much.
Mm-hmm.
Something is I must want these pills for something, or it's in my mind. The pain is
Right.
in my mind, or I'm going to use them for something else. This is the assumption at
Mm-hmm.
most doctors. Um, don't know. I don't know. And just those experiences and going in. Hi, Facebook user.
Yeah. I don't know
I
who you
don't
are,
know.
but
I don't
hello.
know. Kind of creepy. I don't know. But there are other experiences I've had. The last time I was rushed to the emergency room, and those of you that know me or know my business know I have struggled with fibroids. But the last time I went into the emergency room, I was wondering if it was my appendix,
Mm-hmm.
because of the pain and because of the symptoms I was having. And that was the first thing the doctor thought, when he's
Mm-hmm.
mashed around and feeling the pain and asking the questions. He's like, we need to get you into the CAT scan. I
Mm-hmm.
had to go get a CAT scan. They did the dye and everything so they can look around. But before I got to that, the nurse, my
Hmm.
experience with the nurse, the conversation will always begin with, are you sexually active?
Hmm.
How many partners do you have? Could you possibly be pregnant? Are you sure? Could you possibly have a sexually transmitted disease? So automatically, so I'm not just a
Yeah.
hoe. I'm not just a hoe. I'm a dirty hoe. Okay? I come in with pain in my abdomen, and immediately I am a
Mm-hmm.
dirty hoe. I'm, and as soon as the doctor comes in, he thinks it's my appendix. We got to get you in right away. It turns out it was another fibroids had came back. They had grown
Mm.
back. But it's like I go through all of this trauma just to get to the doctor.
Right.
Let's not talk about having to get on a scale.
Oh,
And
forget that.
and they want to address your weight.
For the
It's
longest time, I had to go on the scale backwards because I'm like, I can't look at the numbers. And I hated that every time I had to tell that to the nurse,
yes,
that
yes,
didn't know me. Like, why are you getting on the
mhm,
scale backwards? Because I have a
yes.
history of an eating disorder. I can't know my weight. Then I finally started turning around and looking at the number and trying to just like get stronger with seeing that number and being okay with it.
But
You
it
know what
should
I mean?
not be traumatic.
But
It
yeah,
shouldn't
it
be a
shouldn't be.
traumatic
And I,
experience. You're going to the doctor to get
right.
help and
Yeah.
healing on your journey, and then you come out feeling more traumatized than you
Right.
like. When I saw a second doctor, second opinion, and he
Mm-hmm.
went through my charts and that experience, and he was really confused. They didn't give you any pain medication, no. So you were hooked up to an IV for what? Fluids? They never gave you pain medication, no. They sent me away with a prescription for ibuprofen.
Wow.
I take ibuprofen regularly for pain. It's not gonna help if you have fibroids.
Right.
It's not helping.
Right.
I got something that need to come out of my body. I need
Right.
surgery. That's
Right.
not helping me. It doesn't matter if it's 400 or 600. I need 1200. But
Right.
I
Right.
need to be on your table. But he was so shocked that they didn't. I'm like, I'm not surprised, because she had 101 questions just to get me to the point of even being, hooked up to anything.
Yeah.
And let's not talk about how aggressive she was sticking that needle in my arm. Because I
I'm sure.
always say I have very small veins.
Mm-hmm.
I have tiny, I'm a good girl. I ain't never put nothing in my body. I have very tiny veins. You're probably going to need the child.
Right. The
Because
pediatric
I
needle.
know from experience.
Yeah.
And of course, she made 3 attempts before she went and got the smaller one. I told you. And now I'm aggressive because I'm feeling some kind of way. But
Right.
this is what we deal with. Just
Yeah.
going to the doctor. And
Yeah.
can you imagine every year
Right.
walking into an office for a routine checkup and having to go through that every year? Because it's the same questions every year. They start with your weight, and want to let you know how far you are over the obesity scale every way. They want to ask you the same question. Are you pregnant? Could you possibly be pregnant? How many partners do you have? Are you sure? Could you have a disease?
And I find that they ask that like when you're not married. I mean, when you're not married, that's
That
when
part.
the interrogation comes.
That part.
Because ever since I got married and I go to the doctor, and I've had many different doctors. I had a doctor dump me as her patient.
Not dump you.
Because I was behind paying her $100.
Correct.
I swear.
$100.
I swear. $100.
As if it was going directly to her and not to the insurance anyway.
Exactly. I was behind paying her $100 because we were like up to here with bills. We were in a bad place financially. They basically was like, you need to pay this and you're no longer allowed to be her patient. You have to find a new doctor. I was like, and she had been my doctor for at least 10 plus years. It's not
now
like
that is ridiculous.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like I just had her for like a year, but I am so grateful. You know what? I'm glad, honestly, that it happened because I love the doctor I have now. She is just like, she's the type that she looks at, she doesn't even look at the BMI. She goes, I think BMI is BS. She goes, I don't think you can gauge, whatever. She's just great. But yes, when you go into an ER or any kind of medical facility and you're not married, that interrogation comes
immediately.
I mean,
how you look, because I will say, go in looking professional. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And I will say, when I have had to go in for testing, they'll ask, well, are you pregnant? Do you think you might be? And because of, the safety things. And I'm like,
well, they got to put the thing over here.
I'm like, no, I had my tubes tied, which that's a whole different story.
Girl, next show.
Oh, we can talk on that. Because that's a whole nother story. We want to talk about Roe v. Wade. Let's talk about me just wanting to get my tubes tied.
Hey, Ruben.
Okay. Yes. Hey, Ruben. We saw your heart.
If you don't have 5 kids and your husband's written permission with a notarization, they got questions.
And it's not like my doctor is a female.
It don't matter.
It didn't matter. But I still had to fight for myself to have my two. Anyway, that's a whole different whatever. Woo! But yeah. Let's see. So you a single dirty hoe that gets interrogated but not medicated for you.
Who are you? I mean,
we need to know who Facebook user is because this is a little weird. Ruben, is that really you? Like on the low? Because we have Ruben and then we have Facebook user. Maybe he's
so funny. Yes, exactly. A single dirty hoe.
Yeah.
Would get interrogation. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No medication. Yes. Yes. You are correct, Facebook user. You are correct.
Whoever Facebook user is.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. But this is the experience that we have as women
Mm-hmm.
going to the doctor.
Yeah.
Um, and that is just one form of narcissistic abuse that
Man.
we have seen professionally.
Yeah.
Um, we haven't even gotten into clergy or gotten into employers. Um, we haven't even gotten
Now,
into that, but there's
I-
so many other, this story was about a friendship. We just talked
yeah.
about the doctor situation. There's so many stories in this book that tie into things other than romantic
Yeah.
relationships. And that's really the point I was trying to get out. Because when we say abuse and we say narcissism, we have a tendency to immediately think men who are abusive of women, and that is not always the case.
No.
Not for a long shot,
No.
And
No.
there's so many situations in this book that involve women against other women. It's
That is
amazing.
very true.
It's amazing. But I wanted to shed light on those other relationships, so
Yeah.
people would know that it's common in other walks of life outside of just your bedroom.
Yeah. I was really shocked when I read the clergy stories. I was like, wow. Like you don't even again, you don't really think about that until you're reading the story and it's like, oh my gosh, is
But
that what that is?
how
Like,
many people are you familiar with the term church hurt? How many people do you
no.
know that grew up in church or in ministry, especially in the music ministry, especially
Mm-hmm.
in worship ministry? I'm from that background. So
Yeah.
a lot of
Right.
my friends, associates, acquaintances, they grew up in ministry.
Right.
They're singers, they're worship leaders, they're worship pastors, and they grew up in churches where it wasn't always accepted,
Mm-hmm.
the type of worship that you see today. The
Yeah.
type of music that you see on stage, I'm sorry, on pulpit
On the pulpit.
today. That was not always the norm. So having a gift in the arts in church, and I was a dance minister in church.
Mm-hmm.
Sheesh, a
Yeah.
whole nother thing. We
Yeah.
don't want dancers in church, you know. We want dancers in church, but we
Yeah.
don't want
On
dancers in church,
the right.
But having a gift in the arts in church and arts ministry, it was always butting heads
Yeah.
because it's something that the people hunger for because it's different, it's exciting, it's creative,
Yeah.
it's moving, and it becomes more popular than your message.
Mm.
And when people are more excited to come to church for praise and worship, and
You're
whatever
hurting the ego of the pastor.
the
Mm-hmm.
performance is going to be, don't have a drama ministry,
Don't
and a
have.
dance ministry, and they're tearing it up every
Mm-hmm.
Sunday. And when it's time for you to preach your message, everybody goes to the bathroom. That's a problem with your message or your
Yeah.
delivery,
Mm-hmm.
or you need to find a way to be more inclusive with what's going on or more accepting, whatever. It's something, but it's a problem for a lot of ministers to see the attention being drawn in other places.
Fragile egos. Fragile
Egoism.
egos. I just. Mm.
And even with, I know there's another story in there, in regards to what women are taught in church about
Mm.
marriage.
I actually
And
had that, but I don't want to read it.
I don't want
People,
to read it either.
I,
You got to buy the book,
you
but
got to
there's
buy the book, but
but
I
there
do.
is
I
a
have it
story in there.
bookmarked as well.
Women are taught a certain standard in regards to marriage in the church and what we should be accepting. The fact that every date, I'm sorry, every potential suitor, you know, you have to look at as husband material.
Right.
That's problematic.
It is.
That's
That's
problematic.
very problematic.
When you were raised to court versus to date, and nobody else has that understanding except
Mm-hmm.
you and where you come from.
Mm-hmm.
These people that you're, looking at with potential and bright, wide eyes, are not interested in marriage, or may be telling you they're interested in marriage so they can see how much they can get or how far they can get. That's a whole nother
Exactly.
story. But
That's a
there's a
whole nother
story
story.
in the book from
Yeah.
a young lady raised in the church and the
Yeah.
lesson she was taught even when she got married, what she had to accept
Mm-hmm.
from her husband. You know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, keep your
Paul
head down.
says,
Keep
I
your mouth
agree
closed.
on the husband material point.
Oh, absolutely.
Uh,
This is what we're taught.
keep talking, Paul. Let's see.
Keep
What do you
talking.
keep talking? Let
You
us
know,
know. What do
but
you agree on with that?
that's something that I believe women are taught, but not many men.
Yeah.
You know, we're taught to look for husbands. We're taught to date for marriage,
Mm-hmm.
and men are taught to sow their oats. They're taught from a young age that there's twice as many women as are men in the world. That they have a
Mm-hmm.
choice. That they can
Right.
date until they find the one they want to
Right.
be with. You know, and we're not taught
But
that.
we get one shot. We
We
get
get
one
one
shot.
shot. You get one shot. You stick it out with him
Yep.
as long as it takes,
Yep.
and then you finally get that ring. And if
Yeah.
you don't want the thing, you
Yeah.
don't want Facebook user.
Facebook user. Women, especially in the church, pick on each other for no reason at all, and sometimes some of the biggest hoes in the church.
I want to know who this
I
is.
do too.
Oh my
Reveal
God.
yourself, Facebook user.
Biggest hoes in the church.
Oh,
I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not
nope,
arguing with you. You ain't
nope.
got no argument. Where my tea at? Ain't no
Right?
argument here. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
No arguing there.
Mm-mm.
No.
Nope. Nope.
That is not saying that husband material in the church is the bad guy, just saying.
I
What
need
do you
more. I
I
need
know, I need
more.
more. I
I
need
need more.
more. I don't know what you
Y'all
mean by
gotta
that, dear.
y'all
I
gotta
need yeah,
connect it,
connect the dots because
connect it.
I need more meat on that hunt.
I do agree that there is good husband material in the church. My
Mhm.
point was, women are taught to date for marriage. Period.
Right.
Um,
You
and
can't
not
just date to date.
you don't date to date. And
Mhm.
every potential suitor you're supposed to treat like your husband. Wait till a man's heart is through his
Stomach.
stomach, which means I'm cooking for who?
Oh, Facebook users T Bizzle. Okay. Well,
Ah,
thank
take
you.
that out. Take that out.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Cousin's
Oh
watching.
my
I'm like,
goodness.
who is this? They're
But
so
yeah,
insightful.
I mean, the church could have
Yeah.
gave it away.
What's
What
your
are your
thoughts on Christian Mingle?
I've
I've been far out of that game, so
I've never been a fan of any dating apps. That's that's me. I know there are people that use them. I know there are people use them for one thing only. Um, I don't care that it's Christian or not. What you mingling? What we mingling for? Ain't
yeah,
mingling with nobody. But that also goes back to you're not dating.
right.
This is courtship.
Yeah.
You looking for one person to marry, and yeah, it doesn't always work out. And sometimes you got to look a couple of times, but no,
Women
no, no,
should be
no.
taught to act like Lori Harvey. I'm just gonna go with what you're reacting because I'm not 100% sure who Lori Harvey is, so I don't know how to
Are we
react to that.
talking about Lori Harvey, Steve Harvey's daughter that was just dating?
Oh,
What's his name?
uh,
The new series.
oh, Michael B. Jordan,
Is
the
this
new
the
Alexa.
Lori Harvey? Right, the new Alexa. Is this the Lori Harvey?
Good Lord, if Michael B. Jordan was in my
Because
congregation,
they drugged that woman.
listen,
They drug her.
that's a different
Mm.
topic altogether.
And
Anyway, yep, that Harvey. That's
yep,
the Harvey she's talking about. Okay.
and that is the double standard
Yeah.
of women and men. We are not allowed to do the same things that we see happening. Especially if we ain't got that kind of we ain't got Lori Harvey money. We ain't got that kind of money. But we're not allowed to do that and make those same types of movements and mistakes um, that men do.
Mhm.
When men do something like that, it's just men being men, right? Men
Exactly.
doing it. This is what men do.
Right.
They pick and choose. They get away. They get, we teach people how to treat us. They get away with what they can.
Hmm.
Women are not allowed. We're not. We don't get those same.
Right.
We don't
I don't
get.
want to say it's not really a
We don't get
luxury,
that.
but you know,
That's the word I was thinking. We don't
I
get the. We
don't
don't
know if
get
I
the
call
same
it a
luxury.
luxury, but
We don't get the same luxuries.
oh, T saying,
And
I don't know why my name ain't showing.
I
Sorry, T.
don't
Now that we
know.
know who you are, it's all good.
That's fine. It was just kind of creepy,
It's just the
Facebook users.
anonymity, whatever the hell the anonymity, anonymity.
Whew.
Um,
Interesting. Yeah, but that's
yeah,
another story in the book to check out.
yeah,
Just to look at, that church aspect of
yeah,
narcissism. But there's
yeah.
two, I believe there's two church stories in there.
There are two church
Yeah.
stories. Yes,
So
yes.
what else you
And there's
got
a and there's a
bookmarked
sibling.
over
There's
there?
there's a sibling story or two.
There's a
Or
mother story.
mother story. There's a lot in here, y'all. There's a lot in here. So you please go and buy this book, angelsimmons.com. And like I said, she will personalize it because that's who she is. She's the best. And yeah, I want a part two. I know I keep saying that, but I really want a part two to this book. Like there's so much more. There's so much more. I'm gonna be on the Bryson train and be like, let's go. Part two.
There's a couple of people asking about a part two. I'm like, I
Yeah.
need to find 15 more stories. I don't know about that.
Easy.
I don't
Easy.
know.
Once you
I
get
don't know.
people to read this one, they'll be
I don't know.
messaging you with stories like, okay, here's now that I know what I'm looking at,
Check
this
this out.
happened. Check this out.
Peep this. That's
But yeah.
interesting. Yeah,
Um,
that was a labor of love. That was something
yeah.
I had to get out.
Now I have two questions. Number one, the question is how once it was done, once you had it written and it was final and you sent it to get printed, how did you mentally get to process everything with it? Like just as the author,
I think I'm still processing it.
still processing.
The fact that it was published during a pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
it hits different. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get a chance to do a book release and have a celebration like I did with the
Mm-hmm.
first book. I didn't get a
Yeah.
chance to, sit around and do a book signing and
Mm-hmm.
eat cookies like I did with the first one. It was like it was like
Right.
quietly done, and it was on social media. That really didn't happen with the first book. This time it was a little different. So, it was just different, and I think because of that, I'm still kind of processing it because we're still talking about it. I've done quite a few interviews about the book, and they're all a little different. They all come from a different point of view. I've done interviews with people that hadn't even read the book. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, what are we talking about? I need you to open the book and ask me something.
So is this something you could think about doing, like a re-release, maybe now that
I had not. I
you could
had not.
like, do what you wanted to do so
Mm-mm.
that it
I think
could
the topic or the subject matter a little more challenging.
Mhm.
It's not a celebration of love like
Right.
the first one was. This is about abuse. I
Mhm.
don't know if I want to sit around, at a venue with cookies and champagne and storytelling,
True.
a couple of poets. It's like
True.
it's a little different.
It's a
It's a
little
little
different.
different.
Yeah.
And I think maybe because of the subject matter, it worked out perfectly with
Mhm.
everything being right here or
Yeah.
right there. It's
Yeah.
like I might sit there sometimes.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think it worked out perfectly with me being in my home talking
Yeah.
about this because it's very, you know, it's heavy.
It
It's
is.
a
It's very heavy.
heavy
It's
subject.
very
These are
heavy.
heavy stories. Um, yeah, I think it was a perfect way to do that. But I think because of that I'm still kind of processing, what
Yeah.
where do we go with this next? 'Cause
Yeah.
this is not a book that people will be doing Bible study with.
No. No,
But
no. This will
this
be a book
might
that you
be a
will
support group.
refer people to.
Right. This might be a support group
Yeah,
topic, and I have yet to
absolutely.
have anybody reach out,
Yeah,
for that. I had somebody who mentioned it. It didn't, it
yeah,
didn't happen. Um, but that's what I would like to see. I would like to
yeah,
see if there are support groups that will be using this material. We got 15 chapters,
yeah,
You can do that in a year. You can do a chapter a month, if
yeah,
you want to do something like that. But I would
yeah,
love to see a support group utilizing this material.
yeah. Now,
And
are
it's
you able to share? Because you had said it was released purposefully on July 27th. Are you able to share what was so special about that date?
um that date was important because that was a date that I met someone. And if I could go back, I would have done things differently.
Mhm.
Um, that was not, and I mean, that was like a first encounter with the mask of what
Mm,
turned out to be a narcissist, if
right.
that makes sense.
It makes total sense. Absolutely.
That was that was the first theatrical production in
Mm,
the horror story that it
yeah.
turned out to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that date because I
Yeah.
should have stayed my ass at home. I remember that date.
Yeah.
Remember that date.
So that makes sense. And T brought up a comment. There are some good guys in the church and some women, but the show Greenleaf tells it all. Y'all buy Angel Simmons' book so you can get the mental tea. Oh,
I have never seen Greenleaf. Thank you, T Bizzle.
yes.
I've never seen Greenleaf. I've heard about it. I might have caught a snippet of something sitting somewhere, and oh, that's what that is. Okay, but
Yeah.
I've never actually seen Greenleaf. I know it's a bunch of church drama. I know that much. Look, I live church drama. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. Mm-mm.
uh, speaking of movies, though, this has nothing to do with
Woo!
this, but off topic, I did finally watch The Social Dilemma.
Did you?
We
Well, that
did.
wasn't even for this show, though.
I know. But I just had to tell you that I had to get it off my chest because that's been on the list for like a year and a half. And I watched it at the lock-in with the teenagers, and I was like just like this. I was like,
Good, good. What was their reaction to that?
well, those that were paying attention, they of course were just like, I'm like, guys,
That's the
we're
whole
missing a
point of it,
purpose.
right? That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Oh my
But
goodness.
getting back to movies
Yes,
regarding this
I
topic,
got a list.
I
Yeah.
had one that came, like I said, when we talked about this, one that came straight to my head, and it's an
From way
old
back,
one, way
way
back.
back, way
Sleeping with
back.
Sleeping with the Enemy.
And I don't even remember.
I mean that
I
that
don't even
was
remember.
that's the one with Julia Roberts and some other dude, um but the
Another dude.
narcissistic man, like it Sleeping with the Enemy is like I think from the 90s. I mean that is right there. And what's love got to do with it?
Whoo! What's that? Yes.
Because Ike
I
Turner,
Turner, baby.
yeah,
Baby. He
you
was a nurse
can't
to everybody. The kids, the
absolutely.
wife, the sister-in-law, the band,
Mm-hmm.
backup singers. Everybody felt that wrath.
Everybody.
Everybody.
What did you have on your list? Those were two that really
Um,
stuck out to my head.
okay, I got a very eclectic list. I wanted to
Okay.
put something together for you all. This is your watch list, all right? Put
Okay.
something very eclectic together so it wouldn't just be again romantic relationships, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we starting with the Tinder Swindler because that is
Okay.
the most recent
Okay.
Netflix drama. The Tinder Swindler is about this guy that swindled a bunch of women out of thousands of dollars, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, okay? Friends, folks he was sleeping with, had one woman here, one woman here. Oh my God. So
Yeah.
these are actual accounts. Now, not funny, what's most interesting about this is that this is a real person that if you Googled him, you can go right to his social media. Like right after the movie, and they would talk about how his Instagram is still active. This is me. His Instagram is still active. He's got Instagram. Instagram page. Chill up.
Oh
Real
God.
life story. So the Tinder Swindler
Yeah.
will be the most recent. Last year everybody was watching the You series.
Yes, and I have yet to watch that. But I heard good things about that.
I watched I watched the first season. I watched the second season. I didn't want to see the third.
Okay.
And I don't even think I finished the second. I didn't I saw where it was going and it was like,
Mm.
no. I think the third season, the chick he met, he found out was like him. And it was like,
Mm.
oh, you
Mhm.
thought you were bad out here
Yeah.
killing people. Okay. I got something for you.
Okay.
Catch me if you can.
Really? I would
Leonardo
not have
DiCaprio.
thought about that one.
Connect that. He lied to everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody. He lied everywhere he went.
Wow.
He wore a mask. He was a whole different person. How many different fake
Yeah.
names did he have? He didn't
That's
even know who he
so
was.
right. Wow.
And in the end, ended up working for the government,
Mm.
teaching people how to spot these, fake stuff.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
DiCaprio.
he
Yes.
really did.
You ready? You
So
ready?
so riddle me this because here I'm going back to the 90s, like all these 90 movies I'm thinking. What do we think about Boomerang?
I love it. I love it. I
Right?
love it.
Because
He
it was
met
kind of
himself.
like he met himself.
He met
He
himself.
met himself because you said that
He
about you. And I
met
was like,
himself.
I'm thinking about Boomerang
That's a
because
good
I'm
one.
like, ooh.
That's a good one. Okay,
Yeah.
so far those were all like relational.
Yeah.
The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, yes.
Boss from
Yes.
Hell. Boss
Boss
from
from
Hell.
Hell. Yes. Oh my gosh.
So the Devil
But
Wears
Meryl Streep
Prada.
owned that role, man.
I
Meryl Streep is,
love.
I
Look, I
love
used
Meryl
to.
Streep. Meryl Streep could do anything.
I watched that
Like Angela
movie.
Bassett, anything.
The
Yeah.
first time I watched it, my mouth was just open. The second time I watched it, I had a whole sketchbook. I need this outfit. This mama. Here. This outfit. This outfit. Listen, I was putting it together, baby.
That's incredible. Uh,
You want to go to animated flicks?
okay. Hit me.
Tangled. The Mother
A mother.
in Tangled.
Yes,
She
because
kept that
she
baby in
kept
that,
because she wanted to stay
kept
looking
her
young.
in that tree. Wouldn't let her out of the tree, and wouldn't even tell her why. She gaslighted her,
Mother
um,
Gothel. Oh
and
yes.
then made it seem like something was happening. It wasn't happening, and I told you mother knows best.
Mother
I
knows best,
told
right?
you they weren't any good for you. Cinderella.
Evil stepmother.
Come on,
And the
evil
evil
stepmother.
stepsisters.
Come on. Come on. Come on. So
Yes.
I had a little bit of everything for you. I was ready.
No, I love this. I love
I was
this.
ready. I was ready
Wow,
for you.
that's right.
So you got sisters, you got stepmothers, you got mothers, you got bosses, you got Eddie Murphy.
You got Eddie Murphy. You got Eddie Murphy and Robin Givens.
Larry Fishburne. I'm sorry,
Lord,
Lord.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Was he Larry then? He might have still been Larry then. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
He might have been Lawrence after that movie. But
God.
yeah, that was interesting.
Wow.
So that would be my watch list for you. You
Yeah.
want to look at narcissism on the screen? Yes, those would be good places. Good places to go.
Wow. Now I'm going to be looking at some of those movies in a whole different light. Like
Rain Man.
Rain Man.
Mhm. And I saw that in the last year, and I had not seen it probably since I was a
Maybe
kid.
with Tom
He's more
Cruise.
of a con artist.
Maybe with Tom Cruise, because Tom Cruise was more about himself than trying to help his brother,
Definitely a con artist.
who definitely had some form of autism or something. But
Oh,
it was
yeah.
all about him. It was all about Tom
He was
Cruise.
trying to get that the money. He was trying to get this money. Okay. We'll accept that answer.
We'll accept it. We'll accept it.
We'll accept that answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Tom Cruise could be, well,
Okay.
I don't like Tom Cruise anyway.
Interesting.
Huh. I mean, I'm sure
I
if you really
mean,
go down the list of
the
movies, you can
the
find a little bit of
Adams. Wait,
narcissism in everything.
who was the lady in the Adams Family Values that was trying to pass off Uncle Fester?
Angelica Houston, the one who played Morticia.
Nah, the one that was trying to pass off Fester is the long lost.
Oh, the long lost.
She was
Yeah.
trying to get that money. Oh my God!
Shoot,
And
what
then
was
he
that? I
got.
forget who that was.
I don't know, but then he ended up getting married to somebody. He had to blow the house up. You know, she
Listen.
but she was trying to blow him up in the house to get his money.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so many. I mean, you can find it. You can find it.
I'm trying to
One
think
thing I
of
wanted.
one with friendships. I'm trying to think of one with friendships. And nothing's like really jumping out at me.
I don't know. Ask the audience. Audience, can you
Audience,
think
what
of
about you?
any? Can you think of any movies that have narcissistic characters who were friends or
Yeah.
posing as friends or fake friends? Drop them in the comments.
Yeah.
I can't think of friends.
Yeah.
We have other relationships here.
Heathers. Heathers.
Really.
I never
Yeah.
watched it, but oh, what about Mean
Mean
Girls?
Girls, right?
Mean Girls. There we go. Regina George.
Mean Girls. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Never
but if you
mind.
can think of other movies, drop them in the comments.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to point out, when we talk about narcissism, when we talk about the actual personality disorder, it's not just behavior. We talk about long-term patterns of behavior, but it's not just behavior. It's actually something that is biological. If you put brains side by side
Mm-hmm.
of a regular person and a person with personality disorder, you would see the difference in the size of their brain. You would see the difference in the shape of their brain. The fact that this is something that is biological and that it is listed in the DSM 5
Mm-hmm.
um, tells you that it's more to this than just how you act, behave, and treat people.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that was developed over a period of time. This is something you've been conditioned um,
Yeah.
to follow, a pattern you've been conditioned to follow, um, and it makes a difference. When you're looking at people, if it's in the DSM-5, then it means it's considered a mental health illness.
Mm-hmm.
It's a form of mental illness, right?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of treatment is available for someone who suffers from narcissistic personality disorder outside of therapy? They have to want to make changes. First of all, they
Right.
have to accept the fact that they have
Right.
this personality disorder and they
Right.
want to make changes. One of the reasons why it's only diagnosed in less than 4% of the population is because they don't accept the fact that
Right. That they have this disorder.
they don't, or they know exactly what to say
Mm-hmm.
when they're in therapy. If
Right.
you've ever been in therapy with somebody or couples therapy or
Mm-hmm.
anything, and you have a partner who, is always there's nothing wrong. I'm not the problem. Is it me? Is it
Eh,
me? Am I
I'm
the
not. It's
drama?
not me. It's
Am
you.
I the drama?
All
I'm
of
not the
y'all are
drama.
nuts. I'm
You
not.
know, that's a lot like what therapy looks like for
Yeah.
someone with a personality disorder because they can code switch.
Right.
They know what to say in order to
Right.
appear to be a normal, rational human being. They
Yeah.
know what to say to appear as
Ooh,
if nothing is wrong.
the deception is real.
It's a lot of deception. And then the
Okay.
gaslighting that comes, with their partner, especially if they
Yeah.
went in as a couple,
Mm-hmm.
or a family, and
Yeah.
they're like, so what did you say he was doing again?
Yeah. Right.
Well,
Right.
they're very charming.
Yes.
People with a personality disorder are
Oh,
typically very charming.
yes.
So they know what to say, they know how to get away with it, they know how to look good and make you look crazy. And because you uh, have seen this and experienced this, your reaction is, "Oh my God, what? Why are you act? What do you mean? Why are you acting like this? Do what you was doing in the car?" You know.
Right.
So now you look like a fool
Right.
trying to explain the behavior that you've
Yeah.
been dealing with
Dealing
all
with,
the
right.
time, that you see all the time, and they get in the office and it's like,
Yeah.
clearly
Yeah.
somebody needs therapy, and
Yeah.
it's
And it's
not me.
not me. Right. Yep. Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
we leave out the fact that it's biological. We don't want to address the scientific part,
Right.
and that's why I spent the first part of the book talking about the science
Yeah.
behind it,
Right.
so people will get all that out the way.
Yeah.
I know a
Right.
little bit about what I'm talking about, but get
Yeah.
that out the way, and now let's get into
Yeah.
your experiences.
Oof. Yeah. Well, in case y'all haven't already gone and done it, angelsimmons.com, Target of Love. And while you're there, check out Love's Great Design as well, both books. Order it off of her website. Don't go to Amazon.
Mm-mm.
Order it off of her website because then she'll personalize that for you. And she always knows what to say too. Like I have this one in Love's Great Design. She wrote, Net, you'll know why she's an author because she just writes the most inspirational things. And it's like, actually, my therapist, I'm still waiting to talk to her, but I gave my therapist a copy of this book.
I
And
want to know
I'm
what she
waiting
has
to
to
know
think.
what she thinks for sure. So I'm going to bring that up to her next time. Next time I'm in her office. Yes, people, we get therapy. We
I
don't just
almost,
run a
I
mental
almost
health
wore,
podcast
I
without
almost
getting
wore
therapy
that shirt.
ourselves.
I wore a
Did
different
you?
shirt, my kind of classy, kind of hood
Say.
shirt, but I almost wore the Guide Plus Therapy shirt
Yeah.
today.
I just wrote B-side versus everybody because I mean that's the truth. So I don't know. I was feeling a little extra B-side today.
A little
But
extra fuse, a little extra B side.
little extra B-side today. I don't know. So anyways, but this was a great discussion. And I hope you guys really get this book because you will not be disappointed, that's for sure. We are going to have another show next month. I'm so excited.
Hey,
And it will be
how's
at the end of July, probably the 28th, the last Thursday of July. Um, and our topic
you
was
sure? You sure it's the 28th? You sure?
I think so.
Are
Okay,
you sure?
TBD. TBD. We'll
Okay.
we'll put it
All
we'll
right.
put a pencil in for the 28th. But just stay tuned
Well,
on that.
what do you all think about seeing us every month? Huh? How you feel about that?
Yeah.
How you feel about that?
We'd love to hear your input on that because there's always something to talk about.
Because
And
we
it
could take a break, but if
I
you want
mean,
to see us every month,
oh, she's saying stuff and wanting me to get into Hamilton lyrics. Stop it. I've been really good about not doing that as to not annoy my family. I'm that person, y'all. If you say something that resembles any kind of music,
good
anything, I
grief.
will turn it into a song or I will sing the song.
Uh,
But anyways, that's my quirk. But yeah, if you want to see us every month, let us know. There's always something to talk about. Even so, it's just so weird. Like even when we've already had something that we're going to talk about, something
It
happens
is
in the news that just
always,
adds to the conversation.
always. And you know
So
what? Look at this. Next month, I already have notes for next month, and you've
yes,
already seen the social dilemma. Awesome.
you
Because we're
see,
going to be talking about social wellness next time.
do you see?
Woo-wee!
This is why we work so well together because I
She actually
finally
watched
did it.
something,
I
y'all. I'm
actually
so
watched something that
proud.
she
I'm
told me to
so
watch
proud. I give her a list every month. And
every month. My list is about 20 pages long.
just adds to it.
And then she'll ask, and then she just learned to just stop asking. Like,
Stop
I'm not
asking.
gonna ask.
Mm-mm.
Have you what? No, never mind.
No, no.
But yes, anyways, if y'all have movie recommendations, documentary recommendations, definitely leave them in the comments. If you like to see us every month, leave it in the comments. And any last closing remarks from the author?
I think
Miss Angel?
my parting words would be, and we really need to be more conscious of how we behave and how we treat other people. We need to practice compassion more. It's never enough. It's never enough. It's never too much compassion in how we are treating each other. There is always a traumatic residue of something
Mm-hmm.
left behind in our relationships, whether they are um, love relationships, work relationships, family, friendships. It's
Mm-hmm.
always something that is a trigger for another person, and we just really need to have more compassion on how we speak to each other and how we treat each other. Um, Recognize that you have the same tendencies that you see in other people, or that you point at
Mm-hmm.
in other people. At some point, we've all had narcissistic tendencies. So knowing that should help us to better understand how to respond and react to somebody who is really living with a personality disorder. Whether that means distancing yourself, or putting up those boundaries to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that the relationship is a safe space for you. Whatever it is that you need to do for your mental wellness, um, but keeping that compassion at the forefront is really important.
Mm-hmm.
People don't always remember what they say and how they treat you. You remember how you feel when they did it.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
We never forget
Right.
how someone made us feel.
Mm-hmm.
But best believe they forgot. They forgot they said it. They forgot they did it. They don't always even know that it was wrong.
Right. Exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with therapy. And
Nothing
there's
wrong.
nothing, and it's especially important to be honest in your sessions.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way you can really move forward, or
Absolutely.
move to the next level of your wellness, is if you are being honest in those sessions, and not making other people feel uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
because you're uncomfortable there.
Right. Right.
It's uncomfortable for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Be honest. It's therapy. Nobody even wants to admit that they go, but
Right.
we're at a new day and age where this is more
Yeah.
widely acceptable. It's cool.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if maybe it's not cool yet, but it's more common to be
Yeah.
able to say that, hey,
Yeah.
yeah, I see a therapist, and
Yeah.
you can say it with
Yeah.
the roll of your neck. But even more so than going is being honest when you're there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one thing to look in a mirror and see your reflection. It's another thing to take that mask off
Mm-hmm.
and actually get the help that you need
Right.
without other people feeling like,
It's okay to make yourself vulnerable.
absolutely.
It's okay. That's how you start to heal.
And you really need to see what other people see in you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not just your reflection, but it is how you are projecting to the
Mm-hmm.
world.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Well,
all I.
those are good words. Good final words. I can't back that up. So like you just put it all together and said it perfectly. But yes, compassion. I feel like we're just lacking that a lot right now. Compassion, empathy, humanity. Like that saying, everybody's going through something. You never know what somebody's going through.
Mhm.
Um, we've become a very reactive society, and having a little more understanding um, goes a long way,
Mhm.
you know. And I think bringing back that compassion and that understanding will definitely start shifting things better, I think, in our world. Just
Agreed.
bringing it back. And yeah, all the cool kids go to therapy. Okay, I'm just saying, all the cool kids go to therapy. It's cool
It is
because
cool.
you're taking care of yourself. It's self care. You're
That's
taking
right.
care of yourself by getting the help you need, and you don't need to. That's my other thing is when you seek therapy, it's not, you don't necessarily need to seek therapy because you got an issue. you can go for maintenance,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because you may get things solved in 2 sessions and think, oh, I'm good. And you might think you're good, but eventually the cycle comes back. And then you find yourself back in square one. And it's like, don't wait till that. Just maintain. Even if you go once a month or
Mm-hmm.
once every other month or, as needed.
It's the same with your health.
Yeah.
You're supposed to go to the doctor once a year.
Yeah.
There are annual visits for a reason.
Yeah.
There are people out here that are getting monthly massages.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might need to go in quarterly for
Yeah.
some therapy.
Yeah.
Put it on your schedule. Your
Yeah.
mind is just as important as your body and your health.
If this is healthy, then the rest of you is in good shape. But
Perfect.
if this is not, then everything else is
Absolutely.
this is the engine to the car. Think of it this
Mhm.
way. This is the engine to the car. And if this isn't working properly, the rest of the parts ain't working for you. So
That's great. That
thank
you had so much to say for somebody who couldn't
I
back
had
up.
nothing to say. Are you
That was
kidding me? All right. Well, on that note, thank you all for joining us. We love you. We want
love
you to take
y'all.
care of yourselves. Remember self-care, self-love, take care of your mental health, take care of yourself.
Go have some tea.
Go have some tea. And we'll see you next time. Bye.